It's time to dad.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Time to Dad. I am here with Nick and JT. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us. It's been a couple weeks since we've recorded. I guess we could do a check-in. How's everybody's ramp up to the holiday season treating them? I guess. This is the part of the year where, for some people, work slows down. For other people, work gets crazy. Some people got a ton of family crap they got to squeeze into 2 months. I don't know what that's like for y'all.
Well, I'm scheduled to work, so not gonna be doing anything more, anything less. Specifically, my wife was fortunate enough to get the day off, so she'll be having dinner with my family, and I think her folks are coming in. But it's been relatively quiet on the home front. I mean, Jasper is being Jasper. Still haven't killed nothing out in the woods. It makes me sad. We had a full moon this past weekend, so that messed up hunting altogether, and then a lot of rain as of lately. So I haven't even killed a doe yet. So
I've just seen a lot of posts, man. People are on the struggle bus early in the season here.
Yeah. I'm not even for antlers at this point. I need meat. So yeah, that's ultimately what I'm gunning for, and haven't really had much luck. I've seen a lot of yearlings, but nothing legal or worth shooting.
Nice. How about you, Nick?
Oh, it's life's always busy in the law field. It doesn't really ever slow down. So we are plugging along, and I don't really have I don't know. I don't have a lot to report. Like, we go to Michigan every year for Thanksgiving. That's pretty common. But for us, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's pretty slow holiday season. Nothing really wild going on. Putting a patio in my backyard next week.
Nice.
Like, that's the big news, and very excited, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty par for the course over here. Just plugging along, school, after school stuff, daily life, pretty relaxing.
Nice.
Happy that the season is turning. It's not sweltering hot. I guess that's,
that's always a plus.
That's a win.
I look forward to it. It's weird, but I like it when it cools off. But
I do too. I'm a fat man. I can look at you and break a sweat.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. We're ramping up to the holiday. This is a weird point. I think I talked on a previous episode. I can't recall though. But this is usually my slow season, but I've taken on too much damn work and I guess proven that I'm valuable on these projects. So now I have too many damn projects. So instead of like cruising into the new year, I'm like about to ramp up with 3 or 4 major project deadlines before Christmas here. So that'll be fun. I spent last weekend getting the rest of the lights on the house because my son had ants in his pants and didn't want to wait for me to put the singing light bulbs out. So I spent most of last weekend splicing a bunch of wires and hooking shit up and testing stuff. So that's out of the way. And then we don't really travel for Thanksgiving. I mean, all of my direct family's here and in the Richmond area, so we do a big family Thanksgiving, and then we do a Christmas Eve kind of local family thing for the other extended family in the area. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the colder temperatures. Looking forward to some more football. Would love some snow this year. Last year sucked for snow. So that's about it in my life. Well, good. So we were talking before the show, and I wanted to talk about something I think every dad struggles with, and it has to do with kind of picking your battles when it's not, well, it probably is just as, actually I know it's just as bad with teenagers, but where do you draw the line? And the post I saw was one of the dads, his kid was having an absolute fucking meltdown about what shirt they wanted to wear, and I guess the shirt the kid wanted to put on was dirty. They had worn it before. He didn't say what was on it, but he chose to stand his ground and duke it out with his kid over trying to get him to put on a clean shirt. And then his wife just barged into the room, I guess, and put the dirty shirt on the kid, and everything was fine. And I guess that started some sort of feud between him and his wife, which sounds possible in that situation. But I don't know. Do you guys struggle with picking your battles and figuring out what's worth the fight and what you just kind of, you know, if your kid wants to wear a sweater in the middle of July, do you let him? I don't know. What kind of things do you guys struggle with when it comes to that?
Well, I will tell you what, Maggie has two things. He has his long hair, like down to his shoulders, long hair, and he will not let you put it up or do anything with it. He doesn't want to cut it. It's fine. I like it. He looks very cute, but he won't wear it up. And he also will not go outside, no matter the temperature, without a sweater on. I mean, it's just, that's his thing. He wants to have a sweater on.
Nice.
Yeah. No, he always has to have a sweater on. That's what he loves. And he just has a fit. So, I mean, the thing that I eventually negotiated with him was, yeah, okay, you can wear a sweater if you put your hair up, or you can have your hair down but no sweater, right? And he eventually would be okay with that when it was not. I mean, these days, who cares, right? I mean, he wears sweaters all the time because he has to, because it's getting cold. But in the summertime, it was like 90 degrees outside, and he's walking around in a big old fluffy Sonic sweater, and I'm like, dude, like, what are we doing? But he won't take it off. So I mean, that's that, and I negotiated with him. But like for me, the real rough one for me is dinner time, because they always, my kids, man, this one just drives me nuts. They're like, what do you want for dinner? I want a quesadilla. I want chicken nuggets. Whatever it is that they want, right?
I think you're and
they say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, sure. Okay, whatever. Okay, sure, you want a quesadilla. Fine, I'll make you a quesadilla. I don't care. But then they get the fucking quesadilla, and immediately they're like, I don't want it. I never said I wanted this. This is not what I want. And I'm like, I'm going to lose my fucking mind over this dinner stuff. Like, it's the one that just eats my craw. Just eat what I give you, and they don't eat. And it just, I don't know.
See,
that one drives me nuts.
Yeah, I'm the one that I'll go by the grocery store on the way home from work, and usually when I'm headed there, I'll text my mom because my son's with her after school, and I'll ask her what he wants for dinner. And usually he picks pretty decent stuff. Sometimes he'll ask for crazy shit, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. He'll ask for like taco pasta, and I'm like, dude, we had tacos the night before, and we had taco pasta the night. No, we're not doing anything else taco this week. So I don't know. That's my workaround for that, is I kind of let him pick. And usually if he picks something we don't like, and I tell him he needs to pick something else, he's usually pretty good. Sometimes he throws a fit, but it does create that kind of, he kind of knows if he asks for something for dinner that he wants, that's 9 times out of 10 what we'll end up getting. Sometimes I'll ask for fast food, and I'm like, dude, we're not doing fast food. Stuff like that. But then you got the people that are like, oh, well, now you're just a short order cook for your kid. And I'm like, well, yeah, I fucking am. But it saves me an hour of arguing trying to get him to fucking eat something that he didn't want to eat in the first place. So I subscribe to that. Yeah, asking the kids what they want. And it just sucks when it backfires. And he doesn't do that typically. If he asks for it and that's what's on the table, he's good with it. So I can't imagine doing that shit and then him being like, nah, that's not what I fucking said. Or that's not. He does freak out about pizza, because sometimes we'll get like carry out pizza, and other times I'll buy like frozen pizza at the grocery store. And sometimes he gets a little uppity about that. He'll be like, no, that's not what I said. But I don't know. He's pretty good, and he's not a super picky eater. So I guess we're kind of lucky there too. He likes a wide variety.
Well, yeah, that's super lucky.
I know some kids are like nuggets and fries only is their diet from the time they're like 4 till 10.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, they'll try different things, but they have what they like. The thing is I swear to God, they just troll me they're all the time. They're like, I want this. That's not what I said. I said I wanted this. And it's like, I know what you damn said.
Yeah, so
getting back to like, it doesn't help. It's just getting back to picking my battles. I mean, that's the one for me that I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, I don't give a shit. Eat it, don't eat it, I don't care. But if you don't eat it, nothing else is happening tonight. You're going to bed, right? This is the thing for me, because I'm tired of this. It's not like I'm forcing you to eat some shit that you didn't want. You picked it, right? So eat it. And if you don't want it, that's fine, but you're not getting something else, and we're not going to go do something fun afterwards, because more or less you've made my life hell now, and I'm so tired of dinner time. So I don't know. That one's a point of frustration with me, but everything else, my kids are pretty fine, but that one just drives me nuts.
What you got, JT?
Well,
I see the hamster wheel going.
So I have an 18-month-old. Everything is about it. Secondly, I don't negotiate with terrorists.
That's what my mom says.
Look, now Jasper, he does relatively well with meals. We don't really have to fight with him. Now there are some occasions where 1 minute he'll eat something and then the next he will just toss it across the living room. In fact, last week I had a burrito thrown at my head.
There's a kids game involving a stuffed burrito that you
throw. But I mean, like I said, everything's a battle. I mean, whether he's still not necessarily using too many words as far as letting me know what he wants or what he doesn't want. So it's a lot of screaming, a lot of crying. He's legitimately throwing tantrums now. And I mean, he will literally sprawl out on the floor and go slamming his hands on the floor, and that's wild. He doesn't really see stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Just let him go till he tuckers himself out.
I have, but then there are times where he's getting into the hitting phase.
Mm-hmm. That's not fun.
There's only been one time that I did pop him on his behind. He smacked his mama in the face.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
Yeah, he smacked his mama in the face, and I don't think that necessarily made him cry anywhere near as much as mommy telling him no.
Mm. I'm
gonna tell you, he goes all out. He'll puff out that little bottom lip, and he'll just start crying. When mom tells him no, it crushes him.
Mm.
But a butt whooping, he just looks at me and like, try again.
Yeah.
So really at this point, it's still I'm still not exactly I'm not certain exactly how to choose any battles, because like I said, everything appears as if it's a battle. If it's not what he wants, he just screams and kicks. And how do you punish an infant that that's not really communicating with you as far as just being able to understand certain things, or so like I said, just everything's a battle. I tend to try and assert my dominance quickly. Like I said, I don't negotiate with terrorists, so I when I say no, I mean it. And there have been times where mama just says, give him what he wants just so he'll stop crying. I'm the kind of guy that'll say,
everybody gets to that point when you're friggin' exhausted, kids wailing, none of the toys or soothers are working, he's not hungry. We've had a couple of those instances where
the only reason I say leave him to cry and then he'll stop is because I have to do it during the day when I'm working. I mean, I can't stop working, so I'll just, eventually he'll just stop crying when he realizes he's not going to get what he wants.
Yeah.
Mama had a hard time listening to him cry for any more than 2 or 3 minutes. She just gives up and
This tough.
she's ready.
We had to do that with Emerson in his crib. I mean, just because he's not happy to be in there. And that was when he transitioned from the bassinet in our room to his crib full time. And he'd just wail. And that's tough, man, just to kind of sit there watching the Nest Cam or whatever you have, just listening to them scream and get themselves all worked up. But we did it a couple times and it sucks ass, but it works when you just kind of leave them to figure out on their own that, I guess, screaming my head off for 20 minutes doesn't work anymore. And they slowly learn that, there's a time to cry, and it's not just because they're being fussy. It's, because they actually need something for their well-being, like food or, just mommy and daddy snuggles, whatever it is. But yeah, that's a tough one. I don't miss that stage of just having to let him kind of cry it out and figure it out himself. We have to do that with him now. Nighttime is that's our biggest battle with him. Is he can be the sweetest little kid. I mean, brush his teeth, read a book. We'll usually let him watch 1 or 2 little shorts of Bluey or something on YouTube before we tuck him in and turn the lights off, and he will be a little angel up until the point where you get your ass off his bed and go to leave the room. And then all of a sudden we rotate nights who puts him to bed. So Jen will put him one night, I'll put him the next. And so as soon as I get up, he'll say, oh, well, now I need Mama snuggles. Well, Mama's trying to edit 9 million photos from the wedding she just shot last weekend. So she's having to stop what she is trying to get done and gets frustrated, and she'll go in there and that's still not what he wants. And so then he'll throw a friggin' temper tantrum, and it's kind of like the Ferber method all over again. We're trying to help him figure out how to calm himself down, because right now, if he gets upset with me in there, it's always mommy. I need to see mommy, and I'm not going to calm down until mommy comes and gives me a hug. And Jen did that for a while, and I've tried explaining to her. I was like, this is why he throws that temper tantrum, is because he knows at the end of throwing his temper tantrum, you're going to come in there whether you're able to or not. And I think I was finally able to kind of help her see that. So now it's kind of back to this Ferber method thing where we just kind of let him cry it out and throw his temper tantrum in his room, and we'll close the door. And when he's done and calmed down and back in bed, somebody will go in there and talk to him and give him some snuggles and tuck him in again. But it's some nights, man, it's 100% perfect. And other nights, the bedtime routine that should take 20, 30 minutes max is an hour-long battle with him, and it sucks. And we can't figure out what triggers him. It just depends on the way the wind's blowing that day.
Bedtime is the same thing around here. It's just bedtime is just, it's a fight. It's a slog. And some nights it's an hour and a half, and some nights it's 15 minutes, and it just, who knows? Yeah. Go for it, JT.
I was going to ask you, gentlemen, on that note, do y'all ever get to the point where y'all have had enough and you feel like you're about to blow your lid? To be honest, I mean, I do have I have a temper. I know where my son gets it from. There's no question about that. So
I blow up all the time. Not to the point of whacking him or anything, but I have no problem. The problem is Jen. If Jen got kind of down in his face and got louder with him and explained no, we're not going to do that. He'd probably just sock her in the face if he was ticked off enough. But if I get down on his level and do that, he won't try to hit me or anything. And so it just becomes this standoff between him and I. And depending on my level of exhaustion, my wife she'll come up and be like, you need me to tag you out? Because you're getting pretty angry. And sometimes we do and sometimes I don't. But any parent that says they've never raised their voice out of anger or frustration either the friggin' Gandhi of parents or is making shit up.
Yeah. They need to go look
It just happens,
themselves in
man.
the mirror.
It's the end of a long week or whatever the hell is going on. It does not take a lot to pluck that last nerve. And when you think bedtime's going to be a quick 20 minutes and you think you can sit down and crack a cold one or have a glass of wine or whatever, and then all of a sudden bedtime is this hour and a half long fight and a chore of an activity. I mean, it's easy to get on that last nerve when stuff like that happens.
That's
Yeah.
my biggest struggle is just to avoid the outbursts, because I do have them, and just this past week I had a little bit of one. I got loud and even cussed a little bit. Not really not one of my proudest moments. But I'll tell you what's even scarier is when I see Mama losing her cool.
Yeah. That's the same way.
That
I lose my cool way
she's
more
very slow
often than
to anger.
Jen. And usually when Jen loses, it's because,
Yeah.
like I said, he just like hauls off and whacks her in the face or something, or starts pulling hair when he's having a temper tantrum. But for me, when he tries to do that, I can just hold him and I can just kind of bear hug him to where he's not going to hit me. He's not going to hurt himself. He's not going to throw toys. And we'll just kind of sit there until he realizes, okay, he's not going to let go until I calm the fuck down. But with Jen, I mean, she's not nearly as strong. He's a tough little bugger. And he'll get an arm out, and then he's even more ticked off because she was trying to, kind of coddle him and hold him so he'd calm down. So then he goes back to hitting. But yeah, when Jen loses her shit, I'm like, oh fuck, I better go up there. Because I can sit in the other room and listen to him go back and forth, and I'm like, thank God that's not me. But I know when I hear her voice hit that certain tone and pitch, I'm like, oh shit, I better go up here and see what's going down, because I know some shit's about
Just
to get
remove
real.
him from the danger zone. Remove him from the danger zone.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's I get quiet when I'm angry. Like it's one of those, like, once you get me to a certain point and it gets into that like deep hushed, like, go to your room, like straight dad boy, like that scares the shit out of them.
yeah.
Yeah, I've yelled before, but it's not my go-to. But I will say, the other day, the 3-year-old, he was saying his sleeve of his shirt was wet. This kind of goes directly to the original prompt here. His sleeve of his shirt was wet, and Madeline was like, I think he said, "Get me a new shirt," right? To Madeline, and Madeline was like, "Is that how you're going to talk to me?" Right? And then he was like, "Yeah, that's how I talk to you." And that's when I was down there, right? And I had him under the arms and I had him up in the air, and I was like, "That is not how, the whole, like, it's not how we speak to him. I'm not going to do anything to him. I'm not going to hit him or anything like that, but just give him that little scare with the little squeeze of the arms." And he was crying. He's like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, yeah, but like, it's I don't, far be it those kids ever take a swing at one of us. I'm not really sure what the outcome would be there. I don't think that they're brave enough. I don't think they got the balls for that.
My God. It's tough, man, when they start doing it, because your natural instinct is like, my wife, when he first started doing it, when he first started like trying to inflict pain on people he wasn't happy with, he started with like pinching. And so he would pinch Jen and Jen would pinch him back, and he'd be like, "Oh, that doesn't fucking feel good." But when he like hauls off and tries to slug you with his hand, like you're not gonna, slug your kid back. So that's where it becomes obnoxious. And that's when I get to the point where, like you just said, where you kind of put the fear of God in him. But I have realized that I just get loud with him too often. And it's 9 times out of 10, it's just purely because I'm fucking exhausted. He's not really having that terrible of a tantrum. It's more me just not being able to regulate all the shit throughout the day and then dealing with whatever shenanigans he's trying to pull. But I have noticed when I try to catch myself, if I get loud with him less frequently, when I actually do it, it actually grabs his attention better. As where before, if we were just having regular yelling matches, he's like, well, okay, whatever, this is fucking normal. But now when I kind of get loud with him and tell him no about something, or, we're not going to talk to people like that, it actually, I can see on his face that he's like, oh shit, Dad's pissed off. So sometimes he'll calm down a little bit, but like I said, every parent I think has hit that breaking point multiple times.
Yeah.
And the big thing for me is if I'm gonna get angry at them, right, or something like that, usually it's pretty intentional, right? I'm not like, this is my cool, I'm doing it to make a point, but I'll have a conversation with them later, whether that's in the morning, if they were, if it was a bedtime thing, or an hour or so later after, if it was a dinner time thing, or whatever it is, right? And just like, hey, here's the reason that I was angry. Here's what you did. Here's why. To your point, a lot of the times it's like, I'm pissed off about something at work, and they do the thing where they're like, oh, I don't want that for dinner, even though you said that. And then I'm like, and I'm like, all right, go to your room, or whatever it is, right? Here's the conversation. Here's why I was frustrated. Here's why what you did frustrated me. Here's how we can work on that in the future, and that kind of thing. It helps. They're pretty good at. I think also within that, I do try to make sure that I balance us a lot more positivity than I do any sort of anger, right? So like, my kids are very good at telling me that they'll come up to me sometimes and they'll be like, Dad, I appreciate you, because I say that to them a lot. Hey guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing this, that kind of thing. So they'll be like, Dad, I appreciate you. And I'm like, I picked up your monster truck for you, but thanks. That's a very sweet thing for you to say, and so building that positivity into their relationship, you can balance it out with like whatever it is, like 7 positives to 1 negative interaction, or whatever the go-to is that they would tell you in some sort of therapy setting, right? But I mean, it really is helpful, right? If you can build those positive, like, hey, I appreciate you're doing this. I appreciate the way you asked me to do that. You said, please, thank you for doing that, right? And then when it builds up, or when they get into those moods, or whatever it is, yeah, frustration is going to happen, anger is going to happen, fighting is going to happen. But then having the conversation with them afterwards about why it happened, and I think that's, I don't think anybody's going to not lose their cool as a parent, and if you do, awesome. But I don't think that's very realistic. But as long as you've built the foundation of positive interaction and then explanation afterwards, I don't think that's necessarily. It's just life. That's just how it goes.
Does your wife bust out the teacher voice?
Oh yeah. It's funny because she's got the teacher voice, and then like she'll use it here, and then I'll hear her at work or something like that, and she's using it on those kids, and I'm like, okay.
So when my son was, I wouldn't say super little, but probably up until the point where he hit probably 4 years old, because my sister's a teacher as well, and he'd be doing something he shouldn't, and Jen or I would try to redirect him or correct something, and he just wouldn't be having it. And my sister would bust out, I don't know what the fuck it is with the teacher voice, but she would bust out the teacher voice, and I mean, he would just stop in his damn tracks, whatever he was doing, and listen to what she had to say. And 9 times out of 10, she could get him to stop doing whatever he shouldn't be doing, or get him. And I was just like, what in the hell? I don't know what it is about teachers. They just have that tone and sound to the voice that kids are just like, oh, it's time for me to shut up and listen now.
My wife has one hell of a teacher voice. Now, mind you, up until recently, she was a pre-K teacher. Now, whenever you speak to my wife, in a general sense, she seems very timid, very mild-mannered, very happy, very bubbly and everything like that. But let me tell you, whenever she gets that teacher/mom voice, it even stops me in my tracks. I'm like, ooh, something's going on. I feel a disturbance in the force.
That's funny. Damn, y'all hear that rain coming down? Are you?
I mean, it's definitely for you and me.
You're probably getting the same shit I am.
It's big
lightning out there.
Oh, Damn, speaking of lightning, the lights just blinked.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it happened to me too. I was like, oh shit, is the
Episode's
internet
gonna
going to go
stop
out?
recording. That's funny.
Um,
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. That's I think that's every dad's struggle. I just thought it was funny. I saw 2 or 3 posts this week where it was dads. Like, hindsight for me, we've kind of passed that stage with Emerson. We still run into that shit every now and again, but I was like, maybe we should talk about, when you stand your ground and picking your battles and stuff with your kids, because I think that's an interesting topic, and a lot of parents kind of find that a hard lesson to learn especially with super young kids. But I don't know. I don't know if that's wind or rain now, or a combo of the two.
Better be careful, you're going to float away.
Float away, or it's gonna blow the
they
roof
put
off
out
my
a wind.
workshop.
They put out a wind, though. It was for at least where we are. There's a big wind warning right now. It's a big
I
storm.
feel like I should check my front door cam and see what's going on.
Well, my dad lives in Pennsylvania, and he said that over the next 3 days, they're expected to get about 6 inches of snow, starting tomorrow about 1.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna snow here for a while, but
Yeah, my wife just called me. She's like, it's going ape shit crazy outside. That's funny. I'm a weather nerd. I'm kind of upset I'm not just like sitting outside watching it.
I used to be that way way back when I lived in Austin, Texas. We had a toy room that had the big old bay windows.
Mm-hmm.
And I recall specifically when I was about 3 and 4 years old, we used to watch thunderstorms roll in. I even saw a tornado go right by us and hit our neighbor's house from that bay window. It was interesting. Most children might be terrified, but I was quite intrigued.
when I was 10, we had big sliders on the front of our house, and I fell asleep on the couch, and the sliders were open. And probably the biggest storm I've ever been in my life went through West Michigan. There was a big tornado not near our house, right near our house. And I mean, it was just raining sideways into the house. And I slept 100% through it, woke up and I was drenched just because I had been rained on all night. Didn't bat an eye, just slept 1,000% right through that thing.
Nice.
I slept through blood.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I am a deep sleeper. There could be an actual bomb go off in my house and I ain't waking up, which is not good for my family because anybody breaks into my house, it's on them, man. Because I'm not gonna hear
You
it.
said that publicly.
The only time I sleep that
I know,
heavy
right?
is if I'm like flat out exhausted. Other than that, like if I hear a pin drop, I'm like, "Fuck was that?"
Shit. My dad has been woken up by a coffee pot across the house.
Coffee pot?
Like
the sound of it, like
he's woken
brewing a pot.
Yeah, he's all the way on the other side of the house. He is woken up to a coffee pot. I'm like, man, get some daggum earplugs.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, with this storm, my power keeps flickering, and I'd rather us stop and salvage the episode and be able to save it before it randomly kicks us off. So we'll do a little bit shorter of an episode tonight, I guess. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Like and subscribe. We've picked up a few more subscribers here in the past couple of weeks, which is awesome. Join us over on the Facebook group. Also, we have had in the works. I think we're working on getting an Instagram rolling, if that's correct. And we're also trying to work on getting some short stuff and some reels put together at some point to get out there as well. And also, if you missed the special episode 2, that has also been released now. So check that out as well. That's centered on special education. But as my power blips again, thank you guys again for hanging out with us tonight on Time to Dad, and we will catch you on the next episode. See ya.